Kowalsky here. Welcome back to another video. Now, without sounding anti-patriotic, I want to cover the amazing performance of the Indians at the World Youth Championships held in Romania, right? That's why this whole thing. Don't get me wrong, the Romanians had some amazing performances, and I'm going to cover them also. But they didn't actually win. They placed very good, but they didn't actually win. So that's why we are gonna show you the winners. I mean, we're gonna see the winners, and we all like to celebrate the winners. And you know, it was just an amazing performance. So I'm actually gonna show you. Oops, wrong screen. But I'm actually gonna show you the performance of the under 18 and under 16 and under 14, and the international master Pranav Anand, and a very strong Indian player Ilamparti AR. Don't ask me about the pronunciation. Hopefully it's right. So in the under 16, if we quickly go to visit the website here, we're gonna see that he actually managed to get this win, and I'm gonna show you how. And you're gonna see that this win was actually pretty clutch, because after this round 8, if we go to the standings, he was actually catching up to the leader. But there was also this other guy that was catching up, the Armenian guy, that was catching up to the leader. And you know, I'm gonna show you the games and give you a little bit of story and insights to what happened. But in this game, it's round 8, and our protagonist has the white pieces. So let's see what he can do in this Gioco Pianissimo here. Well, this is the main line. I mean, these guys are basically playing top theory, and you're gonna see that this has happened a lot of times before. A lot of strong players, a lot of top grandmaster games have gone like this. And you know, this is nothing new. This is actually played before. B5, bishop c2, and now a4. This is like the first new move that's not in the master's database. So this move a4 is maybe not the best move, and that's why it was not played. I mean, knight c6 was played before, which, you know, kind of makes sense, getting the knight back into the game. But okay, right, black decided to go a4, and now we have d4 and ed4, cd4, and you can really sense that white gains a lot of initiative. So after the bishop trade, look at black's pieces. I mean, you wouldn't say white's pieces are way more active than black's pieces, but this knight still has to get back into the game, and you really have to find a way to develop your bishop. You cannot really develop it on this square, so you're maybe gonna try to develop on this diagonal. But before that, we have rook e8, which according to the engine loses a little bit of time and allows just you know, white to remaneuver. And now after c5, well, you just go knight g3, you finish your remaneuvering, and now knight c6. But here Pranav decides to go a3, and you know, maybe stopping knight b4, but queen b6 now, and your black is really piling up the pressure on this d4 pawn. Therefore we have e5 and d5, now d5, and the problem is solved. Knight d7, and here white is just gonna go on an attack. Simply, we have knight h5, and you know, actually this move, according to the engine, is a big mistake, because it would allow knight d takes on e5, but it's not that hard to see you know, that this taking this pawn is actually all right, because you know, of certain moves here. I don't know why black was afraid, but the line goes rook to e3, queen back to c7, or rook a7 if you want to be more solid. Let's say rook a7, and here just this very nice move, queen to d3. You cannot take because you're gonna get checkmated. It's very nice. But this is actually the line, right? You sacrifice, and here you actually you can give a check, but after king g7 there's no mate, and here you just take the bishop, and you cannot take the knight because you're pinned, and you have this really unbalanced position. And now check actually works because you get another check, and after king h7, for example, you can make a draw. and this was the top line, but maybe black missed some things. For example, I mean, after queen c7 it's the same thing, but now you cannot really go queen d3 anymore because you don't really have the same the same rook takes bishop. So the game would have been a different game. So instead of that, black got scared and went knight f8, and here queen d2 now, and you can really see how white just got all of their pieces near black's king, and knight e to g6 simply allows the very nice e6, and this e6 really undermines the pawn on f7. We have knight takes on e6, knight takes on g6, f takes on g6, bishop g6, and now rook d8. But now queen c3, rook a7 finally, and rook e5. But black is already much worse. Black is already much worse in this position. Knight back to f8 and bishop back to c2. Now rook d4, and here simply rook e8, and there's just no stopping white's attack. We have queen d8, and I just really like the ending of this game. After g6 we have bishop takes on g6, and now after this move it's mate in 3, and of course Pranav finds it. We have rook takes, queen takes, and now queen takes. And if you take, this is checkmate, as the knight covers g7, the bishop covers f7, and of course the rook covers e7. So a very nice checkmate indeed. And now we go over to the next round. Well, in the next round, if we go to this other screen, well, if we check out the next round, it's a very important game because he was actually able to beat the leader, and this is clutch. I mean, this is really clutch. But if we look here, the Armenian thread actually beat, sadly, our Romanian represent, and he managed to tie Pranav. So if we look at the ranking list after round 9, we can see that they here are tied. So if we go back now to the games, we're gonna see just the game, and we have a d4, d5, c4, d takes c4, and e4 here, b5, and again they play a very main line. They're very, very strong, and they both know their theory. They know what they're doing, and this is just, I'm not gonna lose time with this. This has been played a ton of times before, and it's nothing new. This is just theory. But here, after a couple of moves, after bishop d2, we're only about down to one game, and after bishop a6, queen e2, here knight d7 is a completely new move. Through transposition, c5 and bishop e7 have been played, both leading to a draw, but knight d7 is played in this position, which is considered a not so good move, but maybe black had some preparation that I don't know about, so I don't want to talk crap. So knight back to c1, we have now bishop to e7, and we can see how black just goes castles. And we transpose actually to a game played between Maria Muziciuk and Anna Oshinina in 2011, and in that game rook f to c1 was played. But in this game, we actually have rook a to c1. So choosing to move the other rook, and now rook f to c8, right? Countering, you have to oppose that, and now rook f to e1, c5, and now dc5. And black actually got a very, very nice position here, and after a couple of more trades, the position dies down a little bit, but it's really black who puts on the pressure now. But here he kind of allows this trade, and really he relieved a lot of pressure, and now we have h4, h5, and the g3. So king f8, bishop e3, now offering up this bishop. But the thing is, if you take the bishop, now you lose guard of this bishop, and if you come back with the knight, now you can really see how white's rook is way more active, and you have problems here on f7. So if you try to go and defend this way, let's say you try to do this, well, you're just gonna get rook b8 check, rook e8 is forced, and now knight h7, and you try sticking with your rook, you cannot really, because after you're forced here, now knight g5, and you're losing this pawn, because you cannot defend this, because now it's just x-raying. And you know, if you think that you're smart here, you just knight d6, go out with a check, and you're just dead lost. So therefore, after bishop e3, king e7, we have a couple of more improving moves. Now f6, trying to get rid of that weakness, but knight just goes back, and here we have the activation of the king, and now the rook goes and goes over to the f file, trying to protect the f pawn. And now the rook enters the 5th rank, and after this king move, now we have king to c4, and the king gets active. Rook to g8, but there are no targets because of g3, and now knight back to d2, and now you're threatening a check. So we're gonna have rook g4, but rook g4 should have been played here, kind of preventing this check for a little bit. But in this position, black played bishop to b6, and Pranav was really able to take over. Now we have check, king to d7, and now rook to b5. Threatening to take the bishop. We have a check, and now bishop trade because you're forced. Rook c2 infiltrating, but now we have a trade of pawns, and knight to c5, king to e8, and now knight takes on e6. It's pointless to try to hang on to the pawn, as you're gonna get rook a7 anyways, and you're gonna get king e8 anyways, and this is actually worse than what happened in the game, because now you're actually a tempo down. So you get time to play knight e7, and now you lose the other pawn, and here you're in an endgame down 2 pawns. Because you're gonna eventually lose the b pawn as well. And Pranav, you know, makes a couple of more moves, gains a little bit of time, and here actually manages to go for a knight trade that really favors him, and you know, he's able to get this endgame. And you know, 2 pawns on the edge of the board, this is a draw usually, but in this position, you know, white's king is just way too active, and the coordination is just right on the spot, and you just cannot stop. You just cannot stop him. And now, well, you know, let's go back to the standings. White wins, Pranav wins. Let's go back to the standings. So you know, to end off you know, this story, let's go to right to the pairings after round 9, or to the round 9. Okay, he beat him, and now to the pairings after round 9, but I showed you them, and it really comes down to this game. Whoever wins this game, if it's a draw, then we still fight, but whoever wins this game, if there's a winner, that person wins the World Youth Championships. So with that kept in mind, our protagonist has the black pieces this time, and let's just see the game. Let's flip the board. So we have d4, d5, c4, e6, knight f6, knight c3, knight f6, c6, bishop g5, and again some ultra main line here. I mean, you know, this has been played a lot of times before. I'm not gonna waste time on the theory. And queen to g7, I mean, this is a pretty unique way to play, but again, has been seen before. Here c5 was the only move played in 2021 in a game between 2300s, but these guys are kind of stronger than that. So we have instead queen c2, maybe some secret sauce of the white prep. We have castles now, and rook a to d1, maybe preparing even some sort of d5, but no, Pranav is not scared. We have rook to d8, a3 now, and f5, kicking out the knight, and here just going bishop f6. And now you know, if you're gonna try to go d5, it's not gonna be the same, as you're gonna be forced to trade a lot of pieces. So queen to c1, now rook b6, and queen e3, now knight f8. and rook f2 e1 now, just bishop a6. And if we take a look at this position, we can really see how it's almost like a mutual statement in a way, stalemate in a way, because right, black is putting a lot of pressure on the center here, but white is holding on, and let's just see how he tries to make progress here, because he kind of wants to win this game. Rook d2, and this move is a step in the wrong direction here, because the computer wants h4 as it considers g5 a major threat, and that's why after rook d2, g5 is the main move, because you're just gaining huge initiative here on the king side. And you're just getting on a crazy attack. You're activating your knight in the future, obviously not right now, but that's what the computer wants. Instead, we have rook ac8, the human move, trying to get even more pressure on the center. And after rook e to d1, we finally have the move c5. Now dc5, and now rook takes, and rook c5. We both we expected that before. Rook c8, and knight to b5, now trying to block the attack on the c4 pawn. But in blocking the attack, you actually get a worse structure here, cb5, and now just e5, and you can really see black center kind of forming in a very nice way, and the position is still equal and it's far from winning, but we have rook c2 and rook to d8. Now here rook takes c2 would have been possible. You might ask yourself, well, what's wrong with this? Just queen b3, king h7, and now takes, and for example e4. Now let's say knight e2 or knight e1. Now we just go knight e6, and indeed this position should be better for black, but maybe Pranav just didn't see a way to push through here. Maybe he thought this would be a draw in the end, after all. And instead of that, we have rook d8, just keeping the rooks on the board, and now rook to d2. Again, insisting on a trade, but now rook to e8, again declining the trade. Rook to d1, and now king h7, right? Getting out of some checks in the future maybe, and knight back to d2. Okay, we have e4. We get kind of a similar position, but this time with rooks on the board, and so we have knight to e6, bishop to c4, trying to activate the bishop, queen to c7, and bishop d5. But this move is a massive mistake, because it kind of pins the bishop to the rook, and you have queen e1, you're in time, or so you might think. Is knight f4, and where's that bishop exactly going? Okay, bishop c6, now it's defended, but this knight is now becoming a monster here, and you don't have the bishop to take it in any future. We have queen to e2, and now bishop to g5, and black's pieces just came to life. Queen to a2, but now just e3, and here you can try to defend. If you push, for example, this is just now completely losing. Queen e7, and let's say you go queen e2, trying to desperately stop the pawn, just knight f4 back, and that's it. I mean, as you know, the queen is a very bad blocker. Now we have e takes on f2, king f1, and queen to e5, queen e2, queen takes e2, king e2, and now knight to f4, just winning an exchange here, as you cannot take the rook because the pawn queens. Bishop g2, rook g1, king f2, rook b1, knight d4, bishop f4, knight c6, rook b2, and here white resigns. And so with that being said and done, our Pranav Anand, he managed to beat, the Armenian threat, so to say, Ohanian Emin, and he really managed to, get that first spot, sole lead. And then, all he had to do in the last game, in the last round, was to draw the game, right? This is round 11, and he managed to draw it with the white pieces. And if his opponent would have won it, I mean, his opponent made a pretty big comeback. Like, he was pretty solid in the first half, but then really in the last 5 rounds, he was able to just get those wins going for him. But in the end, White was able to get the draw and the win, and so that's how Pranav won the whole event. But if we go over to the Open 14 here, if we go to the standings, let's say rankings after round 1, we can see a similar flag here on the left. And that's the story that I'm going to show you today again. So we have pairings after round 7, and we can see that our man is just on +2 at this point. And or actually, no, I think he's actually on much more than that. I think he's on +4. I don't know what I'm talking about. So he was on +4, and then he lost. So then yeah, he was on +4. Okay, so he managed to then only get wins, as you can see, and I kind of spoiled this, not wanting to spoil, but I'm gonna show you just some games that he played against our Romanian guys here. This is the games that I'm gonna show you, and actually before that, I want to quickly check out one more thing that just to make sure that I'm not talking about some other stuff. This is a game that he played against an IM. I think he had the black pieces. Okay, I just want to make sure that I'm correct. He had the black pieces, and I'm just gonna quickly show you this game because it was a pretty spectacular game. Now we again have a main line here, and this has been played before, but this move knight d4 with the castles and now f4, this is a very unique approach to this game, and his opponent is an international master. Keep in mind, this guy doesn't actually have a title yet, but he's obviously insanely strong. So we have this knight trade, and now you might say that okay, white is up a pawn, but this center is very, very fragile. We have queen to b6, and now you cannot easily defend with the bishop, as you're gonna lose the b2 pawn. So instead we have king h1, giving up the pawn and having to give up 2 pawns. So now it's actually black that's up a pawn, and he gets some very, very active pieces, and excuse me. And in the end, he's able to give up this pawn to get the bishop, and then a knight check, and now take the pawn instead. And this endgame, he just managed to convert in a very, very nice way, pushing the pawns. Now he's up 2 pawns, and in the end, right, white obviously tries to get some counterplay, but black just activates all of the pieces, and the pawn just goes, and now we have the trade, and we have just a very nice endgame that I'm just gonna skip through the end because this is not holdable. So Ilan Party, he just dominated the field, and now I'm sadly gonna show you how he swept the floor with our not really sweep the floor, but how he beat our Romanians. So we have e45, and we have a Berlin, and Knežev, his opponent, I think he thought that okay, wow, he wants to make a draw. Okay, I mean, a draw is fine. Keep in mind, he placed 8th, the guy with the black pieces, Knežev. He placed pretty high, especially for his rating. He managed to get a +75, and for 2200s, that's not too shabby. So we have this just ultra main line here, and then the grandmaster draws are going like wait, I forgot how. Oh wait, no, yeah. They go like queen d3, queen to d7, I think, and then is this the draw line with the repetition of moves? Maybe not. Maybe this is not the line with the repetition of moves. Oh no, this is the line. Yeah, this is the line with the repetition of moves. Yeah, I got them mixed up. So this is the line with the repetition of moves. Instead of that, we have this line, and this should still be a draw, but white is gonna try to do something here. We have knight to d2, and here Kneshev kind of gets, I think, surprised because this has not been played before. He's fine now, he's playing fine, but I think he just got out prepped. That's my theory on it, because g6 is really not the best move. Just bishop e3 now, and you cannot play this move d4. You would want to, but your rook is hanging, and at the same time you have to take care of what's going on here on the king side as well, because you might just get attacked. Obviously not right away g4, but bishop g4 now, trying to attack the queen. This allows the nasty move e6, and you cannot take back with the bishop, because now just knight takes on c5, forcing you to make this trade, and you cannot castle anymore, and this is just bad news. So instead of that, we have queen takes, but now just queen f2, and you're attacking the pawn again, and you would want to go d4 again, but now rook a2 e1, and you would lose your queen in the end. So you cannot do that. And if you try to go long castles, now bishop takes d4, and you just get destroyed. Instead of that, we have bishop back to f5, but now rook a2 e1 anyway, bishop e4 trying to block, and now you finally take the pawn. Bishop g7 trying to get some development, but this is just, I mean, this is just completely winning for white. Now this move c4 kind of rushed it a little bit. Here the computer wants white to just take a pawn and just chill out for some moves, just saying that he just has a much better position and that he's gonna be up a pawn, and that's it. But instead of that, we have c4, and now apparently long castles would offer black some sort of life here, but this move is a little bit absurd, long castles, because you're just exposing your king to an insane attack. Instead, we have the natural move c6, but this move loses for a very simple reason. You're just too open and you cannot castle anymore. And Kneshev, of course, he tries to kind of hold this, but Ilan Party, he just he just beats him in the end, and here he managed to take a bishop, and black resigns, because if you try to do this, then you're gonna lose a rook anyways. It doesn't matter how hard you try to defend. And this comes to the last round, where he managed to beat with the black. This is actually another very nice teenager, Philip Magold. He's just a very nice guy in general, and a very good chess player as well. Ilan Party plays the 4 knights Sicilian, and here this has been played again. This is top theory, and actually from the white perspective, Magold actually did a very good job. And the king e2, don't get too shocked about it, this is actually a move. Like, king e2 is actually a move. And now f5, again, this is top theory. E takes f5, knight takes f5. There have been like 200 games played, and this is like move 12. Bishop e3 again, this is all theory. Bishop takes on d6, queen takes on d6, right? If you play this Sicilian, you have to know the line. And here we finally reach some territory that has not been reached before. In this position, known moves are d5, and that's a three result move, or queen to c7. But here Ilan Party plays the move queen to b6, and we have b4 now, a very good move, queen to a6, and now this is crazy. The engine wants white to play king back to e1 to sidestep the check, and now taking the pawn loses too much tempo, because you have bishop to d3 or bishop to d4. Bishop d4 is the top line, but I still cannot really understand why you're able to do this. Okay, you black cannot castle, but let's say rook f8 and then bishop d3 anyway. This is just very weird to me. I'm not really comprehending what's happening here. Rook d8, and I just don't understand. I'm not even gonna try to explain. I'm sure you guys that are stronger than me might be able to understand what's going on here, but this is just too much. But instead of king e1, we have king f3, and this move king f3 kind of gives the game away, but black has to be really precise, and he has to play the move rook d8. That's the only move. Why? Again, don't really ask me, because apparently after rook d8, let's say rook d6, you block the pawn. Now you can castle as black, and that's just enough, I guess. And instead of that, we have d6 right away, trying to give up the pawn for the same thing. But now bishop d3 and e5, and the rook to d1, and again white is having a much more pleasant position. But it's all soon gonna turn around. We have rook c to e8 and king to f2. This is actually one of the best moves. He takes on f4, bishop d4, and Muggle sacrifices a pawn. Now he's down a pawn, and queen to b3, rook to d2, attacking the rook. Obviously the rook moves, but he's still winning because he just has a massive initiative here on the king. Knight g4, trying to get some counterplay, but now he really misses the key tactical shot. This is an only move, and it's really sad that he missed it. Bishop takes on h7, and after king takes on h7, queen h5, and now I mean, I don't think he missed it, because obviously knight h6 you have just forced checkmate, right? I think he saw that, but I think after king g8 and queen takes g4, he didn't really see a way forward. That would be my guess, or maybe he just missed this entirely. But I doubt he missed it, but I don't know for sure. Rook f7, maybe he just didn't see a way through, and he felt like he was way too exposed here on the back rank. I don't know. But instead we have bishop to f1, now trying to just guard everything with the bishop. But this is now allowing black to get back into the game. And here black actually missed a winning move of his own. Rook takes on f1, and after king takes on f1, now knight e3 check. And after king e2, queen b1. And this is supposed to be just crushing. Again, queen rook d8, and then I might be tempted to say, but okay, and so what? But here, I mean, you're kind of losing everything, and you might just get booted around and just end up simply worse. I mean, for example, here your king is forced to go into the center, and let's say you're forced to lose a rook, and then you're forced to lose another rook, or you can just block with the bishop. But then a lot of other things are happening, and black is already up to pawns. So instead of that, Ilan Party just takes the knight, and he's still in a better position, but now he's not that winning anymore until rook d7 happens. I suspect time trouble here, because here queen to d4 would have been better, because now the queen trade actually just doesn't offer any advantage for black anymore. But after rook d7, just bishop to a6, getting out of the way. But again, this is a very bad move. That basically, if you went bishop c8, then this would have been a lot better, because now your bishop can join the attack. For example, bishop g4, and you're preparing this. So let's say king h1, and now trying to give up the rook, because if you give up the rook, the rook cannot be taken because of the queen. I forgot about that. But if bishop e2 now, then you might be able to save somehow with queen e7. But that's not really possible, because not taking with the bishop, taking with the rook first, getting to this position, but it's just losing. So basically bishop c8 would have been winning, but now rook takes on a7 is blundering again. But now finally Ilan Party sees it, and Philip is just done, and he's forced to resign here. He resigns because, it's just mate in two. It's just king e4 and queen to d3, king e5, and now should be rook f5, and that's mate. Okay, so well, a little bit of a longer video, but hey, sometimes you have to do videos for your soul also. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I highly doubt anybody has watched until the end, but hey, you know, I enjoy making these videos anyways. Kowalski out. See you in the next one.